Hey Navi-Gators, today I'm back at Plant City. I promised I'd come back when the Florida Strawberry Festival was happening, and it's happening. So I'm going to take another ride around Plant City and show you a little bit around the exterior of these fairgrounds. It's a great festival. If you're ever in the area, you should definitely check it out. It's only here for a week, so don't be late. All right, let's hit the road. Today we're back in Plant City to take another ride through this adorable town and check out its signature event, the annual Florida Strawberry Festival. Since we've been here before, I don't want to repeat everything I said, but I'll give you guys quick takes as we go. Now, I arrived in Plant City before sunrise because I wanted to give you guys a cool sunrise video. The sunrise kind of cooperated, but not as much as I'd like. Now, the sun was just nearing the horizon when I rode by one of my favorite locations in town, the old Plant City High School. It was built in 1914 and remained a school until 1972. In 1981, it was added to the U.S. National Register of Historic Places and is now a community center. You know, I love these old buildings, especially schools, because they just look amazing. The 20s and 30s, when these buildings were built, they just have such class. These are the type of buildings I'd love to restore if I had the money, which I don't, but to make it like a very cool apartment complex or an event center or something like that. Now I have to apologize because this is one of my favorite locations, but the video is a little muddy because the sun hadn't risen yet. But in any light, I love this iconic old place. So people like camera views that show the handlebars in there. And one of the challenges that I have with being a Navi is that it's such a small motorcycle, is that the handlebars aren't very big. They're not very wide. And I have a lot of stuff on them. So it's kind of distracting a little bit, I think. So I'm trying to find the right height where you can see them, but not too much. I don't know. But like, look at all this stuff. So on the left, I have my phone. And that phone is actually showing me what the Insta360 behind me is capturing. And the reason I have that is because the last time I was in Plant City, it stopped working and I didn't know because it was behind me. So I have to see if it's recording and control when it's recording and when it's not from my phone. So I have that. And to the far right, I have the GoPro. And to the left of that is an Insta360 Go 3S. It's like a docking station where you can see what the camera is shooting, but it also charges up the camera that then can be taken out and put on a pendant on my chest, let's say, or put on anything metal because it's magnetic. So it's so crowded, and I just don't know if that's a pleasant viewing experience for people. So on the Fort DeSoto video, I had the pendant this camera's on my chest, this pendant a little higher, which caught some of the handlebars, but it wasn't so low that you were distracted by all this stuff. I tried attaching it to my helmet, but it was so high and the Navi's so small that you didn't even see the handlebars. So I'm trying to figure it out, trying to work it out. But this is one busy handlebar for such a small bike. You know, I'm glad we're back in Plant City. It's an adorable little town. And the last time I was here, my Insta360 camera had some issues. I don't know if like the battery got dislodged or something, but it stopped recording. And the video that was captured was just weird. It lost its gyro information about where was up and things like that. And I was able to use a recovery app from Insta360, but that lack of gyro information just made the video wobbly. It was barely usable. I was just able to pick a few shots, but that was it. So I'm happy to be back so I can give you the full experience and be able to show you everything that's important as I pass by, because I want to do this small town justice. Okay, so Plant City is named after Henry B. Plant. Plant was born in Connecticut in 1819, and he worked for a steamboat company and then invested in railroads after the Civil War. He expanded his rail lines to include 1,200 miles of track into Florida to take advantage of shipping Florida's agriculture and connecting Tampa to the rest of the eastern seaboard. Plant branded his network of railroads and steamship lines as the Plant System, which was a key factor in the boom of tourism in Florida in the 20s and the expansion of luxury accommodations for seasonal visitors, including his own hotels in Tampa, Seminole, Kissimmee, Punta Gorda, Ocala, and Fort Myers. And the one in Tampa is amazing, but that's for another video. Now, the railroad first arrived in Plant City in 1898 and was rebuilt in 1905. The Plant City Union Depot was built in 1909 and played an important role in the early development of the town and continued to operate until 1971. It was later added to the National Register of Historic Buildings in 1974. Now, this is the Robert W. Williford Railroad Museum, and this was the depot. And also here, you'll find the train viewing platform. This opened in 2013 to the original specs of the original train depot, and it sits on the current CSX rail line. As many as 15 to 20 trains pass by this platform every day. Now, I like old schools, we know this already. I also like old theaters. I've always been a huge movie fan and cinemaphile, and theaters like this remind me of the film's heyday. This one, the State Theater, opened in 1939, but it closed in the 1950s. Since then, it's been a number of things: a jewelry store, and an antique and a collectible store. But the important thing is that it's still standing. Now there's something you don't see very often, if ever. A Russian jet, parked on a busy road in a small town in the middle of Florida. This is a MiG-21 Mongol B. Write this down, there'll be a test at the end of this. This is a two-seater training aircraft. It flew in Poland in 1980 as part of the Poland Air Force and was stationed at the Malbork Military Air Base Airport in Pomerania, Poland. Now, I'm sure I've mispronounced a lot of things, but forgive me. This particular plane was part of the 141 Squadron, 4th Air Regiment. But how did it end up here? Well, in 2012, a company called Draken International in Lakeland purchased the MiG, and Draken contracted with Plant City's Star Creations to make military-grade fire-resistant panels for some of its aircraft. One day, in a meeting between Draken and Star Creations, Draken employees said that they had several MiGs that they needed to sell. Aaron Starr, owner of Star Creations, jokingly said, "I'll take one off your hands." Well, that led to him actually purchasing one. In October 2021, Starr picked out his plane and handed over the check. Draken removed the explosive charges used to eject the pilot, it's a good idea, and low-grade radioactive material that's used to keep the instrumentation lit. Ever hear about LEDs? I mean, seriously. The paperwork Starr signed made a commitment that the jet could never again be made operational, no matter who owned it. So, he sold the plane's unused engine for parts. So here it sits on a main road in Plant City for everyone to see. That's crazy. So I had a request from one of our viewers that asked if I could add more ambient sound to the music and the narration. And up until recently, I couldn't because I have a couple of microphones. I have a microphone on the Insta360 camera, and there's a microphone on the GoPro on the handlebars. And both of those, when you got over like 10 miles an hour, all you could hear was wind. Now, I recently added an Insta360 Go 3S, so I've been playing around with that. And fortunately, this camera, this Go 3S, this one actually has a microphone that seems to be able to manage blocking out most of the wind. So whenever possible, I will add this sound to the background to enhance the experience. But depending on the wind conditions and the speed of the motorcycle, this microphone may also only capture wind. And if that case, you'll be stuck with just hearing the music and my voice. But I'm always trying to improve the experience, so I'll do what I can. Now, this beautiful mural is called the Heart of Plant City, and it was dedicated in 2010 to celebrate the town's 125th birthday. That's a cool way to celebrate a birthday. Although, if I reached 125 years old, I'd probably want something more than a mural because I doubt my eyesight could really appreciate it. This painting includes 53 figures, including 25 historical people and iconic landmarks. Oh, and see that sculpture of the woman tending to the plants? That's part of a number of statues placed around the town. These weren't here the last time I rode through. They're really cool. They were created by a guy named Seward Johnson and are part of his Celebrating the Familiar Man on the Street works. They're so cool. Now, Seward was born in New Jersey in 1930 and attended the University of Maine. He enlisted in the Navy and spent 4 years aboard the USS Gloucester, the only ship hit by enemy fire during the Korean War. Talk about luck. He later got married, had kids, and settled in New Jersey. Having no formal training beyond a series of classes in Cambridge, Massachusetts, his first cast work of sculpture won the Award of Steel Art competition, beating out over 7,000 entries. He then went on to make statues like this, the Familiar Man. He also did another series called Icons Revisited, and another group of sculptures called Beyond the Frame, inspired by Impressionist paintings. Of his art, he said, "It's easy sometimes to forget the simple things that give us pleasure. If we open our eyes, life is marvelous. The human spirit triumphs, if only for moments in a day. I try to have my work call attention to those moments." That's a great way to approach life. Well said, Mr. Johnson. All right, you know me, I love cemeteries. This one, the Oaklawn Cemetery, was established in 1883 and was expanded twice in 1926 and later in the 50s. You know, I have a fondness for cemeteries. First off, my parents have passed away, and my in-laws have passed away, and 2 of my siblings as well. And I know how fleeting the memory of our lives will be. My children will remember their grandparents, but after they go, there'll no longer be any first-hand accounts of my parents' existence. And the same goes for me, and sadly for all of us. I don't mean to be morbid, I really don't. I've just had a lot of health issues in my life, and so time is very precious to me, and what I choose to spend my time on is very deliberate. Like these Navi rides, which for me are very, very relaxing. But I look at all of these headstones in this beautiful cemetery, and it just reminds me how short our time here is, and how important it is to take advantage of it. And as odd as it seems, I find taking these rides and making these videos and sharing them with you something really important. Something I have purposely dedicated a portion of whatever time I have left here on the planet, which I hope is still for another few decades at least, but I'm choosing to invest some of that precious time on my Navi, checking out cool little towns. All right, you know what time it is. Algo's hungry. Time to feed the algorithm. As you know, there's no YouTube employee or some sort of technical overlord watching these videos. It's an algorithm, and an algorithm keeps track of responses, whether that's thumbs ups or comments or subscribes or watching a video to the end, things like that. That's the information that it cares about. So if you like this ride or any of the other rides that I've recorded, if you could just interact with the video in one way or another, just, I don't know, push buttons, write things, anything that you can do, that would help. I'm trying to grow the channel. I would really love to create a community of people who not only own Navis and ride Navis, but any sort of motorcycle really, and more people who just like to sit in the back of my motorcycle virtually and enjoy the ride. The more people that see it, the better. You don't have to, but anything you could do, I'd appreciate it. The last time I was here was when I made my first Plant City video about a year ago, but I had just missed the Strawberry Festival. It had just ended like a week before, but I promised to come back, so here we are. But the last time I was actually at the Strawberry Festival was back in 2020, a few days before COVID shut down the entire country. It was a date day for my wife and I, and we had a great time. And then a couple days later, we weren't allowed to leave our house. So I'm glad we went. Now, the Florida Strawberry Festival began in 1930 when members of the Plant City Lions Club thought it'd be a good idea to celebrate the strawberry harvest, and that's when the festival started. Now, it took 6 years off for World War II, but restarted in 1948. Today, the annual event has become one of the best festivals in the nation and ranks among the top 40 fairs in North America. Now, the fair is broken up into a couple of sections. One place is called the Neighborhood Village, and this is dedicated to homemade and handcrafted items created by the folks in the community. There's also the Kiddie Corral and a youth livestock show, which is cool because where I did the opening of this video, I was actually right next to the, not the barn, but like the place where they kept the cows that they were going to show during the livestock show. They were mooing and, well, smelling like cows. The Midway, of course, is where it's the full festival experience. You know what I mean? It's with the rides and the food and the fun. And what's really funny, too, is it didn't occur to me until I was riding around here this day that the Midway is located in the middle because it's midway. Yeah, I'm an idiot. And, of course, there's plenty of strawberry-themed desserts and concoctions. It's if you love strawberries, this is the festival to attend. Now here's where the big acts perform, all the musical acts. This year they had Lauren Daigle, Leonard Skinner, I can't believe those guys are still around, The Oak Ridge Boys. Are they even still the original boys? And the Beach Boys, the same with them. I don't know. I mean, it's cool they're there, but I'm just curious. Chris Tomlin, Nelly, John Fogerty, and the most sought-after ticket was Reba McEntire. Smell the cows. I hope you've enjoyed this revisit, this second ride through Plant City during the Florida Strawberry Festival. I know I did. The sunrise was cool. The weather was awesome. We got to see a Soviet MiG jet on the side of the road. I mean, come on. What more could you ask? Anyway, as always, I appreciate you guys spending time with me. Time is the most valuable treasure we have, and the fact that you've spent any of that with me, I truly, sincerely appreciate it. Listen, when you're on the road, be kind, be safe, be generous, and most of all, have fun. All right, I'll see you guys next time.